Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. That's it for our articles today. Next we're going to do some tweets. Ooh, does the Satanic Temple run adoption agencies?
Honestly, they should.
They should. They would do, they would do a great job with that. Okay, so before we move on to the tweets, just a reminder that this is a fundraising stream. I haven't had nearly enough whiskey for me to be slurring my words like that. I'm actually purposely not drinking much because this weekend I'm going to the God Awful Movies live show. And because this is like the first ever social thing that I've done in like the last, even before the pandemic, like 5 years, the first like big social thing where I'm like going where there's people and stuff. I like went all out and like, yeah, I'll splurge. I'll did the platinum night thing and the VIP thing or whatever. And I've been told there's a lot of alcohol at these things. So I'm like, I'm going to be hurting on the weekend. So I'm not going to make myself hurt tomorrow while I have to drive there.
That's probably for the
So
best.
I'm just having the one small glass of whiskey. So I'm not even buzzed today. I just slur my words because that happens sometimes.
Yeah, I got a flight of margaritas from my local bar, and they're all mini, they're all small, but I'm like, I got a pineapple one and a mango one and a strawberry one and a regular one, and I'm not even buzzed. It's kind of a shame. It's probably because I ate a lot right before I started drinking them, but
yeah, maybe.
Oh well. It's probably for the best.
Anyway, yeah, I got distracted here. So if I haven't said it yet, we're raising funds for the Bridgette Alliance. They help pay for travel expenses for people who need to get abortions, which is very needed right now. So go ahead and donate if you're seeing this in the on the Watering Hole archive. As long as the video is fresh within the last couple days, the fundraiser should still be open. So the goal is $2,000. We're over halfway there when you include my match donation that's going in after the stream. So we should be. I'm confident we can hit 2,000 before the end of 18 days. But it'd be nice if we hit it before the end of the stream. So I think we only need 800 more for that. Which, you're like, yeah, we don't even have 800 yet, but I believe in you guys. I believe in miracles. Where you from? You sexy thing, you sexy thing. Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. Chris Cortez just arrived as I was singing.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Chris.
That's such an unfortunate thing to walk in on.
What did you miss? You missed me not singing for the rest of it. I actually floated the idea in our DMs before the stream of like there's a song by the Scissor Sisters. I can't decide whether you should live or die. Oh, you'll probably go to heaven. Please don't hang your head. It's a good song. And I know the chords. And I was like, would it be legal for me to like sing that song on stream and dedicate it to Justice Alito? I came down on better safe than sorry. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Also, nobody really wants to hear me sing. And I don't think my guitar is in tune, so.
Yeah, he played a bard in our last campaign. Trust me, you don't want to hear him sing.
If you listen to the Bible Through a Child's Eyes podcast, specifically the episodes to do with Joseph, there's a lot of singing in those. Yeah. So you get to hear exactly what you don't.
Yeah, there's quite a bit.
I love that musical, though.
I've never seen it, actually, but listening to you and Lily talk about it did kind of make me want to see it.
Well, it really kind of shocked me. Like, I know I've read the story before, but it just kind of glossed over me. But reading it this time, Joseph was a tyrant. He was not a nice guy. Like, you see him portrayed in all these things. Like, he's this benevolent guy that collected all the wheat or whatever while the crops were good. And then in famine, he was just giving it out to everybody to keep them alive and keep them happy and healthy. No, there's a chapter where it's like, oh, Joseph, please give us food. And he's like, no, you got to pay for it. Like, okay, we paid for it. Okay, next year comes around. We gave you all our money. We have no more money left. Please give us food. Okay, give us your livestock. Like, oh, okay, we'll give you our livestock. And then the next year is like, oh, Joseph, we don't have livestock and we don't have money. Please give us food. And like, give me all your land. And so they give them all the land. And then the next year, same thing again. It was like, okay, sell yourselves into slavery for the food. And so he literally Like, obviously this is not historical, this never happened, but in the book of Genesis, the entire population of Egypt and Canaan gets enslaved by Joseph.
Slightly on that note, this is not a spoiler for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, but there's a line in it where somebody who is a multiverse traveler is casually like, oh yeah, in most universes you don't have to pay for food. It's weird that you guys do in yours.
Yeah, nice little jab at capitalism there.
Yeah. I felt like that was appropriate.
Coming from a Disney film.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, the cat's in my way of my buttons. Oh, you know what? I better put her down. She has a tendency to hit the corner button, which is where my stop streaming button is right now. So, sorry, kitty. Tweets. Let's get some tweets. Okay, we're going to start with Scott Adams because I promised some funny tweets. This is funny. This is pretty funny. All right, so Scott Adams, if you don't know, he's the creator of Dilbert. He says, I just learned that a newspaper group won't run my upcoming comic strip that introduces the first black character, Dave, to the Dilbert verse. And he just sent this by itself, no context, and was like, okay, well, that seems odd that someone would refuse to run a comic because there was a black character in it. Like, that doesn't seem right at all. Now, I mean, it's kind of iffy that, like, his comic's been running for over 3 decades now, and this is the first black character.
Yeah, that's wild.
So that says something right there. But let's take a look at the comic, shall we? Management asked me to add some diversity to the engineering team. Meet Dave. I identify as white. You're ruining everything, Dave. I wonder why that paper wouldn't run the comic.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, I think that's fucking hilarious. I also think that the idea of them introducing a black character that way after the comic running for an obscenely long amount of time without any, and then introducing them that way is also very funny because it's kind of like they're poking fun at themselves.
It gets meta.
Yeah, that's really funny. But I also understand why a newspaper might be like, I don't know if we want to run that.
I could also see that being a dig at trans people because, like, that's just the attack helicopter joke again.
It is, I guess, but I don't know.
If we didn't know who it came from, it could be funny in the right context, I'm going to say.
Yeah, without context, I'm like, if I didn't know for sure that this was definitely a dig at trans people, this would be funny. But out of context.
Okay, but the best part of this comic, the absolute funniest part of this comic is that this was not a weekend comic. This was a weekday comic. And I guess Scott Adams forgot that the weekday comic doesn't run in color. So the black guy is literally white in the comic.
Oy vey.
Like, oh, that's perfect.
Solid choice.
You can't make that up.
Nope.
Okay. Next up, we get Bridgette Gabriel, who says, America needs Mike Lindell back on Twitter to survive.
What a wild take. What an absolutely wild take.
The security of our democracy depends on the pillow guy being able to tweet.
Not the pillow guy, the my.
That was an Alex Jones impression.
I know, but I'm just saying.
I was trying to do the microphone grab thing that he does without making too much noise with the microphone.
What a fucking cringe take. I can't. Was it April Fool's Day when she wrote that?
Well, it was May 1st. Maybe she was just a month late for April Fool's.
It's even if you're a big old Trumper, even if you love Mike Lindell, that's such a bad tweet.
Yeah, if they ban Joe Biden from Twitter right now, I'm not going to be like, oh no, the American democracy is falling. It's like, okay, Joe Biden can't go on Twitter. What the fuck ever.
Yeah. Well, that one doesn't work as well for me because I don't even like Joe Biden either, to be honest.
But he also doesn't even use Twitter really, so.
That's true. I think that he probably saw the former presidency before his was like, that's one website. I don't want to get too creative.
Maybe Kyle Kalinske might be a better example for that. Do you know who that is?
Say that again.
Kyle Kalinske.
Mm-mm.
He's a left-wing commentator. I haven't watched any of his stuff in ages. But like he can be a bit extreme at times, and sometimes he comes across as a little nuts. He's usually he's very charismatic, and he does make some really good points. So I don't take this as me dunking on Kyle. I don't particularly enjoy his content, but it's perfectly valid to enjoy his content. Like he's not some yikesy guy who like, oh, you're going to find out that he was hanging out with Matt Gaetz at the high school the other day. Yeah, like if he were to get banned from Twitter, it'd be like, yeah, that sucks, and you should probably be reinstated, but it's not gonna. Democracy doesn't fall if you don't reinstate Kyle Kalinske to Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter is not where. This is going to be news to some people. Twitter doesn't fucking matter. Twitter is a social media where the amount of information that you can say in a single post is extremely limited. It is for sound bites. It is for off the cuff little thoughts.
Yeah.
It is not that important.
No, and everybody freaking out over Elon buying Twitter. Yeah, that was a stupid thing for Elon to do, I think, and I'm not terribly pleased with that decision. However, it's fucking Twitter. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Anywho.
And I say that as somebody who uses Twitter every day.
Yeah, so do I.
Don't get me wrong. I use it every day.
Yeah, and when the Elon thing goes through, like as it inevitably will, I will probably continue to use it unless it gets like really, really, really bad, in which case I'll just stop using it. Like, whatever. Yeah, people are going, kitty, there's a kitty on my desk. She's much safer over here. There's no buttons she can screw everything up with. I mean, I guess if she rubs the power cord hard enough, my computer will just shut down, but that hasn't happened before. She has hit that button over here many times. Anywho, next tweet is from the Green Pussy, which that's her name. La Chatvert in French is the Green Pussy. So
very nice.
And I actually, I just in case I got any backlash on that, I actually did. I did a Google translate thing. Yep. La Chatvert, the Green Pussy. Quite literally. But that doesn't matter. I just wanted to show you that I had that ready.
Just so you know.
So I forget what thread this was in, but she says this thread shows how ignorant white liberals are of genetics. Balthazar. Okay, so this is someone who might actually know more about Kyle than me. He's talking about Kyle. Says Kyle is the kind of guy who you find out they're sleeping with their co-host kind of guy, or the kind of guy who looks like a used car salesman when you find out he actually was a used car salesman. Both of these are true. Oh, okay then.
So like shitty in a personal way, but not in a like, not necessarily.
Not in a he should go to prison way, just in a kind of like, Okay.
Like he's probably not somebody that I would trust greatly with my personal life, but doesn't make him evil.
Yeah. So this person says she is married to a oh yeah, I remember this is an older one. So this was in something about it's racial purity, I guess they're talking about. She's married to a non-white and can't admit that race mixing will eradicate unique European phenotypes. What is a unique European phenotype?
Yeah, that's what I want to fucking know.
Because like I actually retweeted this and I commented on it and I made a quip about blue eyes or whatever, but like I legitimately spent a long time thinking about like, okay, what is a gene that gets expressed in exclusively European populations? I'm like, well, you can find black people with blue eyes, so that's not exclusively European. And like,
nope.
And like, I don't know, red hair maybe? Is it? But like you can find...
Is having a flat ass specifically European?
Maybe.
What is
like,
it? What?
I don't know. You're like, I don't know. because that's just not how genetics works.
Yeah, and also, like, I don't understand why that would be important to anybody.
That was my point. Like, the fact that you can't find a specifically European phenotype was kind of secondary to the point I was making, which was, why the fuck should I care if 500 years from now blue-eyed people don't exist?
Right. It's like, oh,
who cares?
People are gonna look a little different.
Oh no.
Why? I don't care.
Like, yeah, like, who fucking cares? Why is this even a thing?
The only reason I would care is if that happened because of genocide. But the resulting in people looking different wouldn't be the thing that I'd be upset about. I'd be upset about the genocide. So, like, there's no way this makes sense.
Yeah, and it's so stupid on so many levels. I was gonna say something, but I forgot what it was.
Sorry.
So it'll come back to me in the middle of a future tweet, and I'll come back to it. Like, her position is almost as stupid as saying Neanderthals still exist because their genes remain in us. It's like, okay, but like the Neanderthals that lived millions of years ago, like, were they millions or were they hundreds of thousands? I don't know. Whatever.
Whenever they lived,
the people that like the Neanderthals that lived then, they don't care that their genes didn't carry on. They were just living their lives. This is kind of like the racist version of the why should we care about, like, why does anything in our lives matter if the universe is going to experience heat death in 5 trillion years? It's like, why does that matter? I'm not going to be around for it. Who cares?
It's like, I'm sure that will be somebody else's problem.
Actually, just finished watching a Doctor Who episode about that. Apparently, humans are going to go back in time, put their faces in little spheres, and enslave previous humanity.
Which season of which Doctor is this?
That's David Tennant. New series, season 3, with Martha Jones. That's one where she like travels the world.
I remember that episode.
That's the episode where prayer really is the answer once, because there's a psychic network going on.
Yeah, it took me a second. I haven't watched Doctor Who in a long time.
That's actually why that song from the Scissor Sisters has been in my head recently, because that song makes an appearance in that episode.
Oh,
the master
really?
wheels him around in a wheelchair when he's like all old and decrepit, going, I can't decide whether you should live or die.
I remember that. I remember it now.
It's a bopping tune. And then I forgot that it was like super explicit at the very beginning of the song, so I like played the actual song for the kids, and it was like, fucking kiss you both at the same time. Like, okay, well, kids, you already knew that word, right? Well, I'm not going to explain what it meant in that context.
Well, you know it's a naughty word. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, okay, so rabbit trail again. I recently got a bidet. And it's one that they don't take themselves very seriously in their documentation. So the instruction manual for installing it is like the big words on the title says installing your shit, with like the I is a little asterisk. And then as I'm doing bedtime tonight, I guess I left it on the bathroom counter, but as I'm doing bedtime tonight, my son turns to me and is like, on the instructions for the bidet, what letter is being substituted? Like, what letter is being replaced by the asterisk? I just kind of look at him like, you know what letter.
You know what word.
Know. Don't pretend you don't know.
Don't be coy with me, child.
Like, I am not naive enough to think that you don't hear those things at school.
You know.
In fact, there's a non-zero chance my daughter's out in the living room right now, and as soon as I go out, she's going to be like, I heard you saying naughty words. So Balthazar 228.
Exactly how she'll say it too.
Yeah. Lily made a guest appearance in one of our D&D sessions. She kicked all our asses.
Yeah, I made her a level 20 druid. And I just let her absolutely go to town on the entire party. It was so fun.
We were saved by the fact that she's not experienced with D&D, so she made a couple basic mistakes that managed to have us not permanent die.
Yes.
I imagine a permanent death. I imagine a permanent death in that episode wouldn't have counted.
I also specifically put in a failsafe of like, okay, but if the players do this, you've got to back off.
Okay.
You got to stop killing them if they do X, Y, and Z.
It was a really fun session. Anyway, Balthazar says, if you ever want proof positive that we are still very much apes and definitely part of Neanderthal, just go to a New York Rangers game. See,
I don't get it. I don't do sports.
I don't do sports either. I think that's baseball, the Rangers. No, because
I'm too queer for
the,
sports.
the Mets and the Yankees are baseball. So what are Rangers? Hockey? I don't know. I'm a straight cis white guy. I don't do sports. I'm the odd one out. Anyway, my kids used to do an educational program at the Buffalo Zoo, and like it was a thing where you drop them off and they take them behind the scenes and do all sorts of fun stuff with them or whatever. But it's like it wasn't enough time for us to go home while they were doing that, so we just had to hang out at the zoo. And often we would eat our lunch while watching the gorillas, and the baby gorillas behave exactly like baby human children. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
I actually do not like seeing monkeys and great apes when I go to the zoo because it makes me uncomfortable. I feel like I'm spying on a family that's just minding their own business. Like I'm being some sort of creepy little voyeur.
The male in that enclosure, he did not like he would just sit there and glare at you. And it was like, I know I'm kind of projecting emotions onto him. He's like, gorilla males only make one face and it's a kind of angry glare, but it's still like he just like looks on you with utter contempt. It's kind of funny.
Hockey.
Hockey. There's a lot of sagittal chest beating, hooting, and general ape behavior. Okay.
That tracks.
I thought it was hockey because I does New York even have, like, I know Buffalo has a football team, but does New York City have a football team?
I don't know. You are asking the absolute wrong person for that.
It's the New York Lions.
Interesting.
No, it's not. I'm just waiting for the pissed off people in the chat to be like, "Oh, I can't believe you said that." Oh, yeah, Lions are Detroit. Yeah, Detroit. I think. I don't know. Whatever. Next tweet. All right, we're still at 7:45 on the fundraiser. I want to get to 2,000, guys. You got to do better than this. You got to do better than this. Stop sending me money.
Donate.
Oh, yeah. So we're talking about Elon again. Elon Musk buying Twitter is the 21st century version of Lincoln freeing the slaves. What? I'm sorry.
No. No, it's not. First of all, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, it's so wrong. It's just so wrong.
No, it's not even. I don't think that there's any level upon which those two things can be compared.
No, they're just not even, like, I can't even think of how to correct the analogy because it's just so broken.
They're both white guys doing a thing. That's like
they certainly are.
That's the most that I can find in common between those two things.
But Rudy, haven't you heard that Elon is an African American? God.
Almost nothing on earth will set me off faster than somebody really legitimately trying to argue from Elon Musk being an African American. Like, that's not what that fucking means in the context where we're talking about inequality.
Yeah.
We're not talking about national status.
Yeah. Anyway, Balthazar says New York has two, I guess, football teams, the New York Giants and the New York Jets. Yeah, but the Jets always get delayed at LaGuardia, so I'm just trying to piss off all the sports people. We had really hot debates going on about the abortion thing. There were people arguing about Hillary and stuff in the chat, and I was just ignoring that because I don't even want to get into that. I'm already probably losing subscribers over this. If I start saying you should have voted for Hillary, which you should have, that's just going to lose me even more. Yeah, I know. Wasn't a good vote, Better than what we
No,
got,
it
though.
wasn't. That's why I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking was like, oh man, I hate to agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
You know what? Okay. I'm gonna be a little bit hopeful here, a little bit optimistic. So progressives on the left, we're always infighting, right? And this is one of the big problems is that we're always infighting, and there's sections and sects and stuff, and like people that are disagreeing with each other, and we can't agree on what to fucking do. But on the right, they're all in lockstep voting for the exact same things, and so that's why they're able to get shit done when we can't, because we can't agree on shit. But there's an upside to this. The reason for that is because we are progressive. We are moving forward. The thing about moving forward is you're moving into new territory, stuff that hasn't been done yet. When you're doing stuff that hasn't been done yet, you don't know the best way to do it. You need to figure it out. You need to argue, discuss, like stuff needs to be done to figure it out. And the arguments are a natural part of that. But on the left or on the right, where they're conservative, they just want to maintain the status quo and go backwards if possible. All you have to do is not vote for anything that moves forward. Vote against anything that moves forward. Vote for anything that moves backward. That's all you got to do. There's nothing to disagree about there. It's so easy to agree with other conservatives when you're a conservative, because being a conservative is all about saying, no, let's keep it the way it is or go backward.
yeah.
So there's good reason for us to not be able to agree on shit. I know it still kind of sucks
like
that we
actually
can't.
trying to break new ground.
Yeah. It still sucks that we can't sometimes, but ultimately that's because we are trying to make progress. So it is a good thing. Anyway, Jester Lord of Fools says, are they pointing out that both were largely useless because the last slaves were freed because of World War II? Oh God.
Yeah, I thought that was part of what I was like. I'm not even gonna go into the whole Lincoln freeing the slaves thing, but let's just look at the basics of this tweet and see how ridiculous it is. But also, yeah.
Well, also, I mean, slavery is still legal. We just call it private prisons.
Yeah, saying the quiet part out loud.
Balthazar says, I don't even pay attention to sports. I'm an esports viewer. So I guess esports would be video game sports?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, not even video game sports, like competitive
video games. Yeah.
Of any kind.
Okay, so Aunt Jur is asking, what's the Bridgette Alliance? So the Bridgette Alliance is the charity that we're raising money for this evening. What they do is they help pay for travel expenses for people who are in need of abortions. It's a very much needed service right now, and we're trying to get to $2,000. And I'm sorry, I'm speaking kind of weird now because I have like these little burps that keep on popping up and not quite making it, and it's like, yeah.
That damn whiskey.
Yeah, it probably is the whiskey. Actually, you know what? So I was talking about my bidet earlier. So while I was installing it, because the only other time I am ever like kneeling in front of the toilet with the lid up is when I'm throwing up into it, brains are weird. I actually started feeling like I was about to throw up. Like
Because of the association.
Yeah.
Wild.
It was nuts. Like, and it was like legitimate. Like it wasn't like the toilet is gross, so I used to be a janitor. I've cleaned way worse things than my own toilet. But
just the act of leaning over a toilet. Interesting.
But yeah, it gave me an opportunity to deep clean the screws that hold the toilet seat on, because stuff seeps down there and it's through gross. Anyway, next tweet. Okay, no, let's skip this one because I actually found out afterwards that this was satire. I'll read it because it's funny in that context, but I thought it was serious. I feel awful for the SCOTUS justices today. Imagine trying to privately make a decision while screaming strangers question your sanity. So I thought that was legitimate because I've been seeing.
Yeah, it doesn't really come off as satire.
Yeah, I saw so many takes that were talking about the leak being so egregious. Which, let's be clear, the leak was egregious, but that's not the main news item. That's just what the people on the right are saying was the main news item.
Mm-hmm.
But like, turns out Mama Dr. Jones is actually, I think, I might be wrong. I checked out her profile after I took the screenshot, and I think she's actually a gynecologist. So very unlikely that a gynecologist is going to side with the SCOTUS on this one.
Yeah, probably not.
But yeah, so we can skip that because it's actually satire, and I was wrong to have collected it in people that are supposed to be twits.
It happens.
So Congressman Mary, is that Northrop? I don't know her last name. But Congresswoman says Elon Musk paid $0 in federal taxes in 2018. If he can afford Twitter, he can damn well afford to pay his fair share in taxes. We need a billionaire tax now. In all fairness, I don't know which year it was, but there was a year when Elon paid like $11 billion and it ended up being like the most in taxes any individual has ever paid. So this isn't...
He should do that every fucking year.
Yeah, he should do it every... So this is a bit inaccurate because she's gone back to when he was paying $0 in taxes. But the fact that he could get away with $0 in taxes in 2018 and the tax code hasn't changed that much since then, it's like... yeah, there needs to be some sort of something to make sure that these people are being taxed to a point where they're like helping to contribute more. So Tim Young says, so you're on board with Disney paying their fair share in taxes too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What kind of question? What does that mean?
Well, they think because we were kind of getting behind Disney when they were taking funding away from the politicians that were supporting the Don't Say Gay bill.
Oh, they think that we worship idols.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is they seem to think that anything that we like, if we come out in defense of something, like anything, then we must be defending that thing in its entirety and we must absolutely love that thing.
I like Disney films. I don't like the Disney Corporation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that they were like, hey, the Don't Say Gay bill is maybe bad. I don't like that they don't pay their fair share in taxes. Those are not contradictory opinions. Yeah. It's weird that this person seems to think they've gotten a gotcha in there with something that, I mean, the answer is obviously yes. Of course, I also think that. Those ideas are not in conflict. What are you talking about?
All right. Did you see that meme? That here, I'm going to bring it up on the stream. You might have to... Do you have the stream open on something where you can see it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I'm going back to here. Nope.
Looking at my phone, waiting for the meme.
Yeah, so... Conservatives holding Disney at sword point, saying, drop your weapons or I kill the man. And then leftists, it's the guys from Pirates of the Caribbean going, kill him, he's not our man.
Oh, I've seen that meme. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel
that's
about
accurate.
It too. It's like, okay, take them.
Yeah, absolutely, they should be paying taxes. There's a super chat that I want to read. YouTube's finally actually saving all the super chats that I get. Been having such trouble with that. So Silent Raven says, fun fact, this is going to be a sad one. I'm so sorry. Fun fact, I was supposed to be aborted, but my family convinced my mom not to. I really wish they did, so I didn't have to endure sexual, emotional, and physical abuse by my family. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
I hope that you've been able to get the help that you need and deserve. And I hope that you're having a better life now. And I really am so sorry that you had to go through that.
Yeah, I think that in this, for a lot of people, the prospect of like, I don't want to unalive myself, but the prospect of just never having been born, kind of nice.
Yeah.
I have definitely had those feelings myself. So my heart goes out to you, fam.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's fun. I promised you fun tweets. So, the Titan's Vision says, women want to feel. That's why during sex they close their eyes. They don't talk about men's beauty, they talk about men's charisma. Men want to see. That's why men watch porn and desire to see many naked women. Men only talk about women's beauty, not about their charisma. You have something to say, Rudy?
So do they not know that women watch porn?
Okay. Yeah, there's that. My takeaway here.
That's the first question I have is like, interesting take.
That was my second question. My first question was, do all the women you've ever slept with have their eyes closed the entire time, every time you have sex with them?
That might be about
Like,
you, my guy.
That's not a woman thing. That might be like they're thinking of someone else that they'd rather be seeing if that's the case.
Yeah, it's like that might be just you. You may have very badly told on yourself, my friend. Sucks to suck, but it sounds like you suck.
Yeah. That one was fun. But it's like, and like this difference between like men's beauty versus men's charisma and women's beauty versus women's charisma. Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
I mean, if we're talking D&D scores, those things are usually related.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like they're related. They're not the same thing.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like, I don't really talk about anyone's charisma generally.
Yeah, that's not really something that ever crosses my mind.
Like, not in a relationship sense. Like maybe in a like, oh, that is a very charismatic speaker.
When
In
I
which
think of the
case,
word charismatic, I'm usually thinking of a politician
yeah,
or a celebrity,
yeah. So
not like a person that I have sex with.
my
And I'm definitely not thinking about it in the context of having sex with them. Like, what does that even mean?
yeah,
in that context.
in all my years of marriage, I don't think my wife ever once called me charismatic.
She would be right.
Thanks. All right. Frank Turek says, imagine the creator of the universe humbling himself by coming to serve, suffer, and die at the hands of the very creatures he created. Why would he do this? Because his infinite love compels him to offer salvation to those to those made in his image.
Boring Christian take, as always. Thanks, Turk.
Yeah, but like he didn't like why would his infinite love compel him to offer salvation by killing himself and not just by saying, hey, as long as you like actually feel remorse for the bad things you did, you're forgiven.
He said infinite love, not like infinite ability to make a good plan.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like, it's not even a sacrifice. Like Jesus was dead for not conservative, liberally speaking, he was dead for 40 hours. That's not even 2 full days. Like from 3 o'clock Friday when he said my God, why have you forsaken me? And then gave up his spirit from then.
In some gospels.
Until it was around sunrise on Sunday that he was raised from the dead. Sunrise in Jerusalem around that time of year is around 6 a.m. So if you bump it to 7 a.m., that's 40 hours.
Yeah, that's not a lot. Not gonna lie. So I feel like
no,
if
granted, that was a really shitty weekend. That's a really shitty weekend.
Yeah. But the thing is, I can conceptualize people who have had worse times than that.
Yeah.
You get kidnapped by the CIA, you got information they want, they're going to torture you for a lot more than 40 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds worse.
Yep. So, yeah, Jesus didn't even have the ultimate punishment for your sins.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be the ultimate sacrifice? I mean, I'm not saying that I want the dude to have suffered more. I'm just saying that he did, like, objectively, he did not suffer more than anyone else on the earth.
Yeah. And, like the way he went out was pretty a concentrated amount of shitty, but like.
He also died quick for a crucifixion victim. Like, that was the whole thing, was that they were breaking the legs of the people, and they got to him and was like, oh, he's already dead.
Yeah. Sounds like he had the easy way out.
Yep. Well, easy-ish. Still wouldn't want to be crucified after being whipped.
Easier.
All right, so before we move on to the other one, Jester Lord of Fools says, anyone who reads the Old Testament should realize that Jesus died for Yahweh's sins, if anyone's at all. Fair point.
Yep.
Yahweh did a lot of bad shit. Okay, so that's the last of the tweets. So what we're going to do now is there's a video thing, and Okay, Rudy, say some words.
La-di-da-di-da-da.
Okay, so I think everybody can still hear you because my soundbar thingy is going. I just had to switch thingamajiggies over, and now we've got a video to play. Let's get the tweets out of here and play the video. I have it labeled as Vaccine Lady.
Liberals.
Yes.
I get you support Ukraine.
Yeah, we support Ukraine.
But did you know that in Ukraine only 34% of people are vaccinated, which means 76% of people chose not to get the vaccine?
Okay, people are hating on
Wait.
her for that math there. I'm just going to come right out and say that's the kind of mistake I would make myself, so I'm not going to make fun of the math.
But we caught it.
But we did
caught
catch it. We do know her numbers are off, but I will admit that I'm also prone to that sort of error. But like, what does supporting Ukraine have to do with how many of them are vaccinated?
Like, oh, those people should die, I guess. Never mind.
Like,
What?
yeah, like if I know someone who's not vaccinated, well, okay, no, he is vaccinated now. Never mind. If I knew someone who was not vaccinated and I saw someone break into their home, I'd still call the police. I'd still do what I could to stop that from happening.
Yeah.
Like the vaccine has nothing to do with it at that point. Like the vaccine. Anyway, we've barely scratched the surface. So let's.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So when y'all were saying all the unvaccinated deserve to die, or they should be gassed or hung and don't deserve medical care,
What?
Whom?
Whoomst has been saying this.
Okay, I will say, I am more left-leaning than a lot of people who call themselves liberals. I don't even call myself a liberal. I call myself a leftist because I feel like I'm too left to just call myself a liberal. I don't know anybody who is saying that everybody who isn't vaccinated should just die. And I am definitely on the more extreme end.
Not even
in
just
my
should
politics.
die. Not even just should die. Because I have heard people say like, "Oh, I hope the virus hurries up and kills all the unvaccinated people," which is just I understand the sentiment, but it's a really
Very
shitty
glib,
take.
But yeah.
But I haven't heard anybody say that we should actively gas them.
Yeah, that's nobody's saying that. Absolutely fucking nobody. The worst I've heard, like you said, is people hoping that they like reap the worst possible consequences of their own actions, which is still like wishing ill upon people, but not like I want to fucking kill these people. Like what?
Well, it's kind of like when Rush Limbaugh died of lung cancer. I was not sad. I was actually a little bit happy. The world is a better place without him. I will not say that I'm happy that his family is going through a loss or suffered a loss or whatever, because there were people that loved him. So I'm not happy for them, but like and I'm not even going to say that applies to the anti-vax population in general. Like we want to protect these people. That's the whole point. Like get the vaccine so you are protected, so that you stay alive, and so that you don't pass it around to other people so that they can stay alive. Like this isn't like it's literally the opposite of wanting them dead.
do you still think the same thing about the Ukrainians?
No, we didn't. We don't want to gas the Ukrainians. We never did.
That's I don't know if it's just a conservative thing, because we saw that other tweet earlier where it was like, oh, so you think Disney shouldn't be taxed? Like that was a gotcha. Now they're like, oh, so you think all the Ukrainians should die? It's like, no, I don't.
I feel like it's telling on themselves, because I have heard, like I have seen conservatives post things about how like, oh, I can't wait till all these liberals start dying off because of the vaccine. And like, that's kind of along the same vein as the wishing the conservatives would all, or the anti-vaxxers would all die. Like, got to make that distinction, because not all conservatives are anti-vaxxers. But like, that is along the same vein as saying, I hope all the anti-vaxxers die of COVID. But like, so like, yeah, like nobody, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, it's just so nuts. I can't even think of an equivalent.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were shot, I mean, you'd probably want medical care, but if you're unvaccinated, you obviously don't deserve it in Ukraine.
No. If you're shot, you deserve medical care. Either way, vaccinated or not. But like, I literally, the last fundraiser I did on here was for Doctors Without Borders, specifically for Ukraine, and sending medical staff there to help with the wartime shit. And they're probably doing vaccination stuff over there too while they're there. And like, I looked into it. There are a number of factors that went into Ukraine having such low vaccination numbers. But ultimately, it doesn't matter for the purpose of supporting them in the
one
war.
has nothing to do with the other.
Except for the fact that war tends to spread disease really well. So it really sucks that they do have that low of a vaccinated population. But like I said, there were multiple factors that went into it, and that doesn't change who I support. Like, I'm not going to support Russia because they have more vaccinated troops. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
No.
We're just curious. We want to know.
If you're just curious, you could have found out the answer to that without making an idiot of yourselves by
asking
posting.
literally anybody.
Okay, so that's it. We should probably end it now. It was a ride today.
I'm up past my bedtime. I'm a first shifter now.
I'm sorry to hear that. But
I mean, I don't mind it that much because I was never really a night owl to begin with. But every time that I want to stay up past like 10 o'clock, I have to plan for it. I gotta be like, okay, I'm gonna have Nathan pack my lunch for tomorrow, and I'm gonna set my clothes out so I don't have to stumble around in the dark looking for them. Like I have to think ahead to how I can save as much time as possible and get in as much sleep as I can.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining me. It's been fun. Remember, you still got a couple weeks left to donate to the fundraiser, so please go do that. If you're watching this in the archives, it's probably still up. We're at $745. After I put in my $500, we'll be at $1,245. So it's $755 left to go to the goal. I think we can do that. So yeah, let's do this and roll credits time.